All right, Brandon. Today we're going to be learning a new new reading strategy that focuses a little bit on vocabulary. It can help you process words that you don't know or new topics of information that are new to you. So this is called a discussion chart. Now, discussion charts can look however you want them to. I wanted this to have two separate columns, one for characteristics about my topic and one for examples. But you can do it a bunch of different ways. You could have your topic or your word in the center and break off little branches for different definitions or whatever. But this is what's easy for my brain. And so this is what I'm using today.
Okay.
Today we're going to talk about primary sources. We've learned a little bit about them, but I just want to break down what we already know and apply it to some real life examples. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what are some characteristics of primary sources that you can remember from our lesson?
So I would say that it's like an original.
All right. So once we have our idea, we're going to write it down. Now, can you think of any examples of original sources?
Yeah, like a document. So kind of like the Constitution.
Nice, that's a good concrete example. Put that. Constitution. All right, can we think of any other characteristics?
So we've got original. It's also kind of like it's like direct information from the source.
Nice, that's the most important part, is it's from the source. So I might even underline that part of the sentence because I really want to remember that. Can we think of any examples that are directly from sources?
Yeah, so like a journal or like a diary.
Yeah, a journal or a diary entry is a really good example. All right. What do you think? Can we think of anything else?
We've got original, we've got direct info from the source. I think those are the big two. Is there any other one you're thinking of?
No, I think we got them. All right, so now let's think about secondary sources. So if primary sources are original, what are secondary sources? What are some characteristics?
So I would say it's like the opposite of one of the things from the primary. It's not directly from the source.
Nice. And what are some examples?
So I would say like a summary, maybe.
A summary of what?
A summary of, for example, from our last one, like a document. Just kind of summarizing what it's about, but it doesn't have the direct information from the original source.
Nice. Can we think of any other characteristics?
I would say that it may not have like all the original information. Like it's kind of got secondary info.
Yeah, so there might be information lacking.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Can you think of any example of when a secondary source might be lacking information?
Yeah, so maybe like Again, I think a summary kind of applies. Potentially like a review as well. Or maybe just kind of like say you've got a book on something, but then you summarize it, it's not going to have all the original information from the book.
Right. You know, I'm thinking if I have a book written in English, but it needs to get translated into Spanish, do you think some of the info might be missing because of translations?
Yeah, I do think so.
All right. Can we think of anything else? Which do you think is more accurate?
I think a primary source is more accurate.
Yeah. Sometimes they can be, but with any source, you want to make sure that it's not biased one way or the other. So sometimes secondary sources can even be more fair than primary sources.
Okay.
All right. Nice work. So from that, I have a couple of cards to give you a little end of the lesson quiz.
Okay.
So I have a source, and I want you to tell me if it's a primary source or a secondary source.
Okay. So the first one is letters. I think that's a primary source.
Nice.
Newspaper articles. I would say that's a secondary source.
Good.
Textbooks. I would say that is a secondary source.
Nice job.
Biographies. I would say that's a primary source.
Okay.
Did I get that one wrong?
Well, we'll talk about it at the end.
Okay. Photographs, I would say that's a primary source.
Good.
Newspapers, I would say that's a secondary source.
Oh, do I have newspapers in here twice? My bad.
You tried to trick me with that one.
Yeah, I did. So, let's talk about biographies for a second.
Mm-hmm.
In a biography, is the person... Okay, let's say you write a biography about me. Am I writing the biography about myself?
No, that would be an autobiography.
Nice! We also learned about those. So this was also a trick.
I forgot that lesson from a little bit ago.
You fell for it.
I really did.
Alright, so looking back at the discussion chart, do you think that you like this strategy?
I do, yeah.
What parts did you like about it?
I think it helps keeps my thoughts organized and helps me separate the two different types of things I'm trying to think about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this can be used for a lot of different ideas and in a lot of different subjects too. Thanks for learning with me.